Down with yours truly, Angela Petrilli. All right, seems we had some mic issues, folks. Let me know how things are working. Give me a thumbs up if that mic is sounding great. Again, my name is Angela Petrilli here with the fine folks at Fishman, teaching you a brand new tune every week live. We're going to be learning Be Yourself by Audioslave, one of my absolute favorite tunes. It is such a fun one to play. So have your electric guitar in standard tuning. Okay, we're gonna have a capo at the 7th fret. So capo at the 7th fret, or 7th fret, 2nd fret. We're live, folks. It's Saturday, it's rainy here in Los Angeles. 2nd fret, standard tuning, electric guitar. Also, if you have a delay pedal or say a wah pedal, we're gonna be using all of those things today. So before we get started, you know, I like to ask a question. So folks, let me know where you are tuning in from and your favorite rock and roll singer. Where you're tuning in from, favorite rock and roll singer. Give me a thumbs up if the mic is sounding great, folks. So here we go. Round 2, Be Yourself, everybody, by Audioslave. Let's do this. So with this tune, we're gonna have a lot of great chords here, very beginner friendly. If we're looking at the chords within the song, for the most part, if we're looking at our verse and our chorus, it's gonna be an A minor, a C, an F, and a D minor. All right, so those are gonna be the chords that we have there, again, in the verses as well as the chorus. Now, because we have this capo at the 2nd fret of the guitar, I'm going to be calling out the chords as if we didn't have the capo, so all the chords in accordance to that capo. So let's go ahead here and look at some of your comments. Let's see. Let me know where everybody is tuning in from. We got Italy in the house. We got Fort Lauderdale. Thank you all so much for being here. Vermont, loving it. Los Angeles, I know it's raining here too. I feel ya. So happy to have all of you here. West Palm Beach, thank you so much for being here. And Reckless575, you're gonna be my my secretary today. Let everybody know the question of the day and that we're in standard tuning. Really appreciate it. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here again with this intro. It's gonna be based around 2 chords. So let's go ahead and look at the first one, an A minor, and we're going to have an A sus2 over F for the next one. That's going to sound like this. Really beautiful chords here. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about how we're going to do this. So we've got first finger here, A minor chord, placing that on the 1st fret of the B string, again in accordance to the capo. Getting our 2nd finger, 2nd fret of the D string, that's our E note, in accordance to the capo. Okay, 3rd finger placing that in the 2nd fret of the G string. So what we're going to do here, so we're going to go ahead and just strum this from the A string downward. Okay? Nice and light here. If we listen back to the original tune that Tom Morello, when he's playing the guitar on this, again, really light touch with that chord. And that's all we're going to do, and we're going to let that ring. Okay? What we're going to do after that is we're going to include this little riff. This little lick there. All right? It's going to be with the open B string. Okay, hammer on there with the 1st finger on that 1st fret of that B string, and then lift for the open string. So this riff here, notice how I am only plucking it once with my playing hands. I'm going to do that again. See, I'm only striking the note one time, or the string rather. Okay, so here we go. Just like that. Now, I'm going to give you 2 different options to play this next chord. Me personally, what I like to do here is I like to get my thumb and place it over on the 1st fret of the E string, which would be that F note, okay? Again, in accordance to the capo. So this would be an A sus2 over F. We would strum everything. plucking each of those strings. Now, if you don't want to use your thumb, no problem. You can go ahead and still do this chord with the first finger, and it would sound like this. So just like that, all right? So let's go ahead and do that again here. And again. And last time, here we go. Okay, so just like that there. Now let's go ahead and look at the riff. So the riff that's in that intro is going to go ahead and start at the 16-second mark, all right? So what we've got here is this. You do that without the clam, so let's do that second part again. We're live, folks, it happens. So that's what we're looking for there in that second half of the riff. So let's go ahead and look at, again, the first riff here. Placing your third finger on the 5th fret of that E string, open E string, first finger on that 3rd fret, again, in accordance to our capo, that's at the 2nd fret. Let's go ahead and do that again. Just like that. Let's do that one more time. Next bit here, get that 3rd finger, placing it on the 7th fret in accordance to that capo on the high E string. Bring it up a half step to the 8th fret. From there, go to the 10th fret, sliding your way back to the 7th fret, all right? So that will sound like this. Okay, so just like that. Now, when we are going to that 10th fret, again, in accordance to the capo, we want to maintain that slide as we're going back to the 7th fret. We want this sounding very human, very aquatic-like. Just like that, okay? So, let's go ahead and put all of these parts together. Again, this is the first half of that intro, nice and slowly here. Here we go. And don't forget to alternate pick, okay? So here we go. All right, let's do that one more time. From there, we're going to get that 3rd finger, placing it on the 8th fret of the high E string and sliding it all the way back to the 3rd fret. And then 3rd fret to 5th fret. Okay, let's go ahead and play that again. Okay, nice and slowly here. Here we go. One more time. Which then leads us to part 2. So part 2 sounds like this. Good stuff, right? So again, a lot of the similar motifs that we have in part 1. Okay, so again, 5th fret of that high E string, open E to 3rd fret is the same. 7th fret to 8th fret, the same. Here's where we're going to differ. Bring that 3rd finger back to the 7th fret of that high E string, all right? In actuality, this is a C sharp. You're going to slide that note all the way back to the 3rd fret, that high E string, remember in accordance to the capo. All right, so let's go ahead, do that again. And the last 3 notes, open E string, get that 3rd finger, 7th fret of the E string, sliding back to that 5th fret and striking the note. All right, so here we go, nice and slowly here. Let's go ahead and do the whole part, all right, from the top. So there's the riff. Now, when we attach it to the intro, sounds like this, and I'll play it through. Here it comes. Pretty cool stuff, right? So that is our intro there. Now, when we're going into the verse, and even say, like, maybe that was a little too difficult to where you are right now as a player, no problem. What we're going to do here is we're going to look at the chords. So the chords that I'm about to show you here, the A minor, C, F, and D minor, we're going to see in the verse, and we're going to see in our chorus too, which is absolutely great. So again, talking you through how to play these chords, we're going to get A minor here. It's going to be our first one. Placing your first finger on that 1st fret of that B string, okay, 2nd finger, 2nd fret of the D string, 3rd finger, 2nd fret of the G string. So what we're going to do here, A minor. Now, if we wanted more of a fuller sound, we would do a strumming pattern, kind of like a down, down, up, up, down, up. That would sound like this. Okay, we can do that. Or if you wanted to do, and like kind of palm mute it with those 8th notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could do that too here. Both will work. Both will work. If we watch Chris Cornell, when he did his acoustic versions of this, it was a little more of a wider strum. But if you were, say, you were playing with a band or another guitar player, and you want to do something a little, shorter and just a little more concise, you can go ahead and do those downward strokes, those 8th notes. So again, down, down, up, down, up strumming pattern, if you wanted bigger strumming, or the 8th notes, if you just wanted to keep it a little more murky and sad. Okay, so again, completely up to you. The next chord here we're going to have is a C chord. So if we're coming from that A minor here, why do you remember your pivot points? So your 1st finger and your 2nd finger, leave them where they are, okay? Don't lift them up, because the C chord, okay, shares those notes as well. All you need to do from that A minor is lift that 3rd finger up to the 3rd fret of the A string, okay? And again, same strumming pattern here with that chord. Now we go to an F chord. If it were me and I was playing this, I'd probably play the bar chord version. So that's what I'm going to show you here. Get your 1st finger, placing that across all 6 strings at the 1st fret. Again, in accordance to the capo, we're capoed at the 2nd fret here. Getting your 2nd finger, placing that on the 2nd fret of the G string. 3rd finger curling to go to the 3rd fret of the A string. 4th finger, 3rd fret of that D string. Again, with our F chord, our 1, 3, 5, that is our formula, all right? Our target notes F, A, and C, again, in accordance to the capo, right? Do I know in actuality this is a G chord? I do indeed, okay? Keeping it easy though, we're gonna call this F, okay? From there, we're gonna go to a D minor. We're gonna use these 3 fingers here. 1st finger, 1st fret of that high E string, okay, that would be an F note. 2nd finger, 2nd fret of the G string, 3rd finger, 3rd fret of the B string, okay? We're gonna strum from the D string downward here, just like that. All right, so I'm going to give you both options of the strumming with these 4 chords. All right, so this is the down, down, up, down, up strumming pattern. Here we go. A minor, C, F, D minor. All right, so say we wanted to be a little bit more percussive, we would go ahead and strum this way again. 8th notes here. Here we go. Same chords. So with this, what we want to do here, notice how it was a little more subdued, right? It was a little quieter. What I did here is this part of my hand, okay, my strumming hand, I'm placing it on top of the strings. I'm not pressing. This is a palm mute here. I'm not pressing here. What I'm doing is just lightly placing it on top and slow movements coming from that wrist. And all downward strokes here. I'll do that a little slower. See how I'm not moving my whole arm? I don't want to do that. Just moving that wrist ever so slightly. Ooh. Just like that. I'll tell you why I'm laughing in a second. All right, so I don't know if you guys have been watching the news, but in Los Angeles, we have a major storm right now, and there is some crazy thunder going on outside my office right now. Too cool. Too cool. So those are the chords there. So lucky for us, this is the chorus as well, which is absolutely fantastic. Same chords here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start from the top. We're going to go to our intro. We're going to play through that. We're going to play through the intro line as well. That happens at the 16-second mark. And then from there, we're going to go through these verses. Now, the verse happens 4 times, okay? That A minor, C, F, and D minor 4 times, all right? So here we go from the very, very top. Play along. Here comes the riff. Now, right into our chords. Let's go ahead and do the full chords here. To C, to F, D minor. Don't forget those pivot points. Now let's go ahead and do the 8th note hits. Here we go. With that palm muting. Let's do it one more time. Now, what happens here, once we get into that chorus, we're going to add an extra measure of that D minor. And then once we get into the chorus, guess what? A minor, C, F, and D minor 2 times, okay? So again, really, really cool stuff here. So going into that chorus, let's go ahead and do the big strumming here. We're going to do that 2 times, and then we're going to talk about our interlude riff. So here we go. One more time. Now into our interlude riff. riff. See if you recognize it. Part 2 of our intro riff, okay? We're gonna repeat that here for the interlude before we get into that second verse, all right? So what we're gonna do here, and again, remember this is a live Q&A, folks. If you have any questions, please be sure to put it in the comment section. And also too, since I have that queued up, I'm gonna go ahead and add that there. I got a new EP coming out in May, folks. Super excited about it. So I put the pre-save link in the comments if you guys would like to go ahead and pre-save that. I would so appreciate it. It'd be awesome. So there it is up there. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. So let's go ahead and do this here. We're going to do our intro again into our intro riff, into a verse, into a chorus, and the interlude riff, which, as we said a moment ago, is the second half of that intro riff. All right? So here we go. And then after this, we're going to go ahead and get into the guitar solo. So if you have a wah pedal, go ahead and we're going to invite it into the party in a moment. So here we go from the top. Intro riff. I'm going to do it a little faster. Part 2. Now into our verse. Those 4 chords, let's play them. 3 more times. 2. 3. 4. Don't forget that extra measure of D minor here. Into our chorus, same chords. Interlude riff, here we go. So there it is there. What's really great about this, we're going to go into our verse 2. Guess what? Exactly the same chords. A minor, C, F, and A minor, C, F, and D minor. There we go. And then our chorus, same chords, all right? And then from that chorus, all right, we're going to go into our guitar solo here. We're going to first look at the chords that are happening in this guitar solo. So how I'm going to teach this is I'm going to teach it clean first, so without the wah pedal, so that we can hear the notes. And then I'll talk you through how to go ahead and play it with the wah. And I'm going to use my hand to do this because I don't have a camera to zoom in on my foot doing this. So I'll talk you through it. It's super easy. And that'll be a ton of fun. And then we're going to get into the bridge, which is really beautiful. Again, the shapes that move, it's going to be similar shapes here, which is really great. And then that's going to be most of the tune. Again, folks, if you're enjoying these lessons, be sure to click that like button on the video. And if you haven't subscribed already, would love it if you did. Be sure to share these videos with a friend, you know, who's learning how to play guitar. It does help the cause, again, with these lessons. I so enjoy teaching you guys how to play. It brings me a lot of joy too, and I think music makes the world a little bit of a better place. So let's share some of those good vibes, shall we? And again, live Q&A. If you guys have questions, type them in the comments, and we'll get to as many of those as I can. So let's talk about the chords first that are happening in this guitar solo. So the guitar solo starts at the 2-minute 40-second mark here on this song. And again, these chords, very beginner friendly. I know we've got like some, you know, some riff stuff here at the top and all of that, but don't worry, very beginner friendly. So we're gonna go ahead and talk through these chords. It's gonna be an A minor, yet again. Okay, a G over B, C C chord, an F chord, and a D minor. Okay? So there's going to be one chord that's a little bit different, right, than the rest, and this is going to be that G over B. So here's a way that I like to play it, and that's pretty easy to remember. So those of you know, I like to play my G chord with all 4 fingers. So let's start there first. So for a regular G chord, how I like to play it, first finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, again in accordance to the capo, 2nd finger, 3rd fret of the low E string, 3rd finger, 3rd fret of that B string, and then our 4th finger on the 3rd fret of the high E string here. Okay? So that's a regular G chord. Awesome. But let's learn G over B. All we're going to do, okay, we're going to lift one finger, and it's going to be this 2nd finger. It's going to be that G note, okay? We're going to start playing the chord from this A string, right? And if we think about, we are capoed, but if we weren't and we were playing the G where it usually is, right, that note would be a B note, and that's where we're starting the chord from. Don't strum the E string. It's not going to sound very good. I'll show you what I mean. We don't really want that here. It's a nice E minor 7, but we'll save that for another time, okay? So we want to start strumming from that A string downward. So the bottom 5 strings is what we're looking for. Okay? And then from there, we're going to go to our C chord. Okay? Our C chord we already know how to do. This is great. From there, we're going to go to our F bar chord. Remember our target centers, F, A, and C on this one, and D minor here, which we know. Okay, again, our target centers here, D, F, and A. Our 1, flat 3, 5. So again, A minor, target notes A, C, and E. G over B, we're starting with that B note here, target notes. We have G, B, and D. B is going to be our bass note root here. To our C chord, C, E, and G are the target points. Okay, to the F, F, A, and C, and D minor, back to D, F, and A. Okay? So those are our chords here. So when we're strumming this here, we're going to keep that same pattern, down, down, up, down, up with these chords. I'll call them out. We'll go through it a couple times. All right, so here we go. G over B, C. We're going to give that another extra measure to F, D minor, and repeat, A minor. G over B, C, another measure, to F, D minor. All right, so that's there. If you don't want to play the solo, could you play those chords? Absolutely. Will it sound great? You bet. It's going to sound wonderful. So let's get to the real good stuff. Let's look at the solo here. As I mentioned a few moments ago, I'm going to teach it clean at first so you know the notes, so we can hear the notes, and then we can start articulating it with the wah pedal. If you don't have a wah pedal, totally cool, okay? Totally cool if you don't have one, but it does sound just like the record when you do, so it's really cool. So let's learn it clean first. Again, we're gonna break it down into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 15 parts. Don't worry, no, 15, I lied. 12 parts, easy. Okay, so here we go. Taking it nice and slow here. I'm gonna play through the solo clean. Again, the solo starts at the 2-minute, 40-second mark. I'm gonna play it clean without the wah. Here we go. So, those of you who are watching live, right, have a look at this. It's pretty much an A minor scale where we got some parts that, you know, Tom Morello takes from the A minor pentatonic, again in accordance with the capo here. We are actually in the key B minor. It's a friendly, it seems like a lot, but don't worry, my beginners who are watching are like, oh my gosh, I'm not sure if I can do this solo yet. Take your time with this. It's a basic A minor scale with some instances of little wisps of the minor, A minor pentatonic, okay? So that's where the solo is coming from. Now let's go ahead and break it down. So let's get our first finger here, placing that on the 5th fret, again in accordance to the capo of that low E string. We're going to get our 3rd finger here, placing that on the 7th fret. Okay, and our 4th finger on the 8th fret here. Alternate picking, crucial with making this sound great. Okay, so I encourage you, go ahead and play this with that alternate picking in mind. Okay, so here we go. Just like that. Not too bad, right? Now what we're going to do here, so 5th fret, 7th fret, 8th fret in accordance to the capo. If we're thinking of, well, what are actually the notes here? We got a B, a C sharp, and a D. Okay, so you're going to drop that first finger, placing that on the 5th fret of that A string to the 7th fret, then back to the 5th fret. 4th finger, okay, we want to work out this pinky finger, 8th fret of the low E to that 7th fret, okay? So let's just break down this section. We're going to go through it a couple times. We're going to add each section as we go. So here we go. We're going to do this a few more times, okay? Really stretch out those hands. Good workout. Okay, let's do that one more time. Part 2 sounds like this. Okay, very similar motif, slightly different. Let's go ahead and talk it out again. 5th fret of that E string to the 7th fret to the 8th fret. Dropping that first finger here, 5th fret of the A string. 4th finger, 8th fret of the low E string. 3rd finger, 7th fret, 1st finger, 5th fret, low E, ending on the 3rd fret of that low E string in accordance to the capo. That would be an A note in actuality. All right, so let's just look at part 2 by itself, then we'll incorporate part 1. Here we go. Don't forget to alternate pick. Don't forget. Let's go ahead and do that again, and then we'll add part 1. Let's do it one more time for good luck. Part 2 only. Just like that. All right? Now let's go ahead and incorporate part 1. Here we go. Part 2. See how my pick, the alternate picking, super important here, keeping that moving all the time. Let's go ahead and do these 2 again, a little bit faster. Okay, one more time. There we go. There we have it. So those are the first 2 parts, okay? So part 3 sounds like this. Really getting a good workout with that 4th finger. Let me show you how to do that. 1st finger, 5th fret. Okay, that same motif, that B, C sharp, D. We're going to repeat that line, 5th fret of the A string, 7th fret of the A string, and 8th fret. In actuality, what are these notes? E, F sharp, G. Okay? And we're going to hit that 7th fret and 8th fret of the A string another time. Like So part 3, just by itself, isolated, sounds like this. Let's do that again. All right, let's do it one more time. We'll add it to the rest. We're going to keep combining all of these parts until we can play this solo great. All right, I'm a big fan of repetition, taking things slowly. That's how we really grasp and learn something, okay? And I encourage all of you to do this in your own practice routines at home, okay? Part 3 only. Just like that. All right, here we go. Parts 1, 2, and 3. Take your time. We'll go through this pass a little slower, and then the next one go a little bit quicker. Okay, so here we go. There it is. Let's do that again. Okay. Now part 4 sounds like this. That's what's happening there. We're going to get our first finger here, placing that on the 5th fret of that D string. In actuality, this is an A note. 4th finger reaching to the 8th fret of the A string. 7th fret, 5th fret. Back to that 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the A string. We're going to strike this 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's go ahead and do part 4 by itself. Here we go. Cannot stress enough how important alternate picking is with this. Okay, let's do that again. Just like that. And again, people are saying, loving the tone today. 1, thank you. I am going through a Princeton Reverb 65 reissue amp with an Alnico speaker that I installed myself. It was super easy to do. It was really fun. It took me like 10 minutes. It's great. And then as far as the pickups go, these are the Fishman Fluent Strat style. These rock. I saw someone say, do you need to buy the pickups separately? Yes. I have a link in the video description. You can check it out now. And they have a link to all the stuff where you can check these out. They're awesome. I have them in 2 of my Strats, and I totally love it. As far as the effects are going, Strymon El Capistan tape delay. So that's it. That's all I got going on here. Figured I'd bring my board in today for this one, and we're going to be playing the wah a bit too. So here we go. Let's go through the first 4 parts. And thank you guys for your questions. Awesome stuff. Okay, so here we go. Part 1 through 4. Here we go. There it is. Ah, yes. And the pickup configuration, yes. Neck. I'm in position 1 here. Thank you for asking. Yes. So here we go. Let's do that one more time. Okay. That's what's happening there. Now, this part here, we're going to repeat this section 3 times. It sounds like this. Really cool little bluesy line, all right? So what we're going to do here, how we get that, we're going to get our first finger here, placing that on the 5th fret, again in accordance with the capo, on that D string. And we're going to hammer on with our 3rd finger on the 7th fret. Just like that. Let's do that nice and slowly again. Now the next part, drop that first finger 5th fret of the G string, going back to the 7th fret of the D string. All right, let's do that nice and slowly. last time. See how important alternate picking is with a solo? Massively important, massively important. All right, so that section is going to be repeated 3 times. So let's go ahead now and incorporate it with the other 4. Here we go. Here it comes. Now this next little line, really fun, straight out of the pentatonic scale, all right? See if you recognize the shape. Right out of the pentatonic, right out of the pentatonic. All right, so we're gonna get that first finger here, placing that on the 5th fret of the G string, hammering on to the 7th fret, dropping that first finger, 5th fret of the B string, using your 3rd finger or your 4th, going to the 8th fret of that B string, back to the 5th fret of that B string, 7th fret, G string, 5th fret, G string, ending the phrase on the 7th fret of the D string. So if I play it slow without the commentary, here it is. I'll do that again, no commentary. One more time. So if I play that fast to tempo, I kind of did a little bend there. I don't think he does that, but that's I like to do it. It's part of my playing. Just like that, okay? Now, let's do the whole thing. Here we go, so far. Follow along, you can do it. That's what's happening there. I did that a little slower if we did it faster. Right out of the pentatonic. Right out of the pentatonic, guys. All right, so the next bit here is going to go like this. Again, right out of the pentatonic, getting that first finger, 5th fret of that D string in accordance to the capo. We're going to hammer on to the 7th fret. We're going to strike that 7th fret note a few times. In actuality, what is that 7th fret note? It is a B, B as in boy. Just like that again. Don't forget to alternate pick, one more time. And we're going to do the same line down a string starting at the 5th fret of the G string. Here we go. Again. And that's going to be repeated 2 times. Now let's incorporate it, starting from the top. I'm going to get you playing this solo by the end of the lesson, I'm sure of it. Here we go. Here we go. 3 times. Fun stuff, right? This solo is great. The next part here, probably my favorite part of the solo, it goes like this. Those bends, they're awesome. They're so cool, okay? And not that hard to do. We're gonna use our 3rd and 4th finger to do this. 3rd finger, 7th fret of the G string, 4th finger, 7th fret of the B string. So what we're going to do here is they're going to bend together at the same time. If I were just to pinch those 2 notes and those strings, listen. Okay, so what I like to do, this is a little tip that I like to do. 2nd and 1st finger have absolutely nothing to do, so we're going to give the 2nd finger a job. The 2nd finger is going to help that 3rd finger bend a little bit, okay? So it's going to bend behind the note. Wow, say that 10 times fast. Bend behind the note. See how that 2nd finger was helping? So we're going to bend. Again, you can't see my thumb because it is acting as a good foundation, the back of the neck. You know the skunk stripe we have behind the neck here? On a Strat style guitar, okay? My thumb is right on that line. So I suggest, if you guys are doing this bend, try that. Could you bend like this? You could. With this song, I like to have my thumb the back of the neck. Okay, and we don't want to bend too much. I want to really find that sweet spot. So when we're bending here, all right, when you're strumming, try and focus on just hitting that G string and B string, okay? So that section there with those bends can happen 3 times. From there, leave your 3rd finger where it is. We're gonna strike that 7th fret of the G string, going back to the 5th fret, to the 7th fret of the D string, to the 5th fret of the D string, back to the 7th. That's the solo. So I'm going to do this clean. We're going to go through the whole thing, and then for a few minutes I'm going to incorporate the wah and show you guys how to do it with the wah engaged, which sounds wicked awesome. Okay, so here we go. Here's the entire solo. Here we go. So there's the solo clean, just like that, all right? So now we're gonna do, if you happen to have a wah pedal, awesome, go ahead and turn it on. I'm gonna turn mine on here. This is a Vox. See how it can, these are so great. So we're gonna go ahead here and now incorporate the wah, which is what Tom Morello does on the song. Now, here's the trick with this, because you can hear it. See? There it is without. And there's the wah engaged. I'm going to turn off my delay for this so we can really hear the crispness of the wah. Now, when you strike the note, the trick with this, when you strike the note is when your foot should go down. So, like that. Hear it? We want that snap back. Wow, wow, wow. When we strike the note, strike down on the wah and then come right back up. So that section there, that wow da 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 da, your foot needs to move pretty quickly. So that wop 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 wop. So your foot's like this, wop 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 wop. Yeah, it's great stuff. That wop 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 right there. So I'll do that slowly. So hear my foot go down and then back up. Let's do that again. It's great stuff. And then when you do it quickly, and again, it's finding the sweet spot in your wah. I mean, I could do like lessons upon lessons of like finding the sweet spot in wah pedals. I think that it's just so cool. But you'll hear it. you don't want a wah pedal that's too rigid. You want one that's like pretty loose so you can really, really get those inflections. And again, I'm doing that all by my foot. It's not an auto wah. Auto wahs are cool though. All right, so again, what I'll do here is I'll play it through. Keep in mind as you strike the note, you want the foot flapping with it. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, so here we go from the top, and I'll play it through. Let me start that over again. Good stuff. So keep that in mind. I turned the wah off. Again, keep that in mind. I couldn't teach this song without at least talking about the wah and just giving you an idea. So that's what's happening there. Very Hendrixy, yes. Thanks, DNS. Appreciate it. It's super, super cool. Hats off to Tom Morello for writing a really, really great solo. So let's go ahead and look at the bridge here. So the bridge is at the 3-minute and 13-second mark of the song. Excellent. That sounds like this. So that's what's happening there in the bridge. Let's go ahead and learn it. So we're going to do here, this is based off an F major 7, again, in accordance to the capo, all right? We're going to do here, I like to include my thumb in this, placing my thumb here on the 1st fret of that low E. This is optional. If you can't do that with this chord, it's not the end of the world. It's totally cool. You can still sound great with having that thumb placed in the back, all right? But we definitely want that high E ringing, because with an F major 7, again, going back to a little bit of theory here, what is the formula? It's a 1, 3, 5, 7, and that 7 is E. All right, so we need to include that. All right, so we're going to do here, 1st finger, okay, we have that thumb, optional, okay, 1st finger, 1st fret of the B string in accordance to the capo, 2nd finger, 2nd fret of the G string, 3rd finger, 3rd fret of the D string. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to totally pick out each of the notes. So starting from the D string, G, B, E string, and then back up to that D string. All right, so nice and slowly. Now me, what I like to do, I like to start with this low F instead of starting it at the 3rd fret of the D string. I think it just adds a little more volume and depth if you're playing this by yourself. Like that. But could you do this? Absolutely. But again, just an option here. That's what I like to do, all right? Just like that. Now we're going to do this same chord, but we're going to bring it up. It's going to be, once we move it up a whole step, we're going to call this a G6, because again, that high E is the 6th note of this chord, the 1, 3, 5 plus the 6. All right, so a G, B, D, and the high E, which makes the 6th chord. All right, so that shape that we have with the F major 7, we're going to slide it up a whole step, meaning your 1st finger should be on the 3rd fret of the B string, 2nd finger is on, 3rd fret of the B string, 2nd finger, 4th fret of the G string, 3rd finger, 5th fret of the D string. There you go, folks. Yes, okay. Strumming, picking out the notes rather from the D string. And and working our way back up. Just like that. Pretty fun, right? Let's go ahead and do that again. Let's do that again with the thumb. And again. Beautiful chords here. So the next chord that's going to happen here is going to be an A minor. Call it an A minor add 9. We're going to do here. We're going to get this third finger. We're going to slide it up, okay, to the 7th fret in accordance with the capo of that D string. We're going to get our first finger here, placing that on the 5th fret, the G string, in accordance with the capo. And we're going to pluck those same notes. So that D string, or actually the low A string. What a beautiful chord. Really, really great. So low A string, and you're going to play that at the same time as your third finger on the 7th fret, okay? So let's do that again. One more time. Again, this is happening very, very quickly here, so let's go ahead and start from the top. Let's take it slow. Again. And a little bit quicker. Here we go. And one more time, then we'll get into the little riff that's there. The riff here. That's all it is, okay? First finger, 2nd fret of that D string. Open D string. That's it, no fingers. Placing that 2nd finger, 3rd fret, the A string. In actuality, that note is a D note, okay? So let's do that whole thing with the riff. Here we go. Riff. Chords. Riff. Riff. Okay. After that, we play through the F major 7 to the G6 to the A minor add 9 3 times with the riff at the end of each time, of each pass. For the last pass, all we're going to do is go from the F major 7 to the G6, and that's it. And then we get into this building, the building of that bridge into our final chorus. So what's happening there is for that final chorus, we're going to be doing power chord versions of all the chords that we did, remember, at the top in the verse and in the choruses, that A minor, C, F, and D minor. But what we're going to do is we're going to play the bar chord, or at least the power chord versions of them. So it's going to sound like this. It's awesome. It's so great. It's so great. So here's what we're going to do here. We're going to get our 2nd finger and our 3rd finger, placing that 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, 3rd finger, 2nd fret of the G string, striking the open A string as well. So this is what you want. And we are going to use this part of our hand here to palm mute, okay? Placing it on top of the strings. Do not press the strings. Just lay them on top as a buffer, okay? And we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. Okay? We don't want, that's not what we want. We're building, right? We're building the sound. We're building up for something nice and big. So we want a nice texture here. Just like that. Cool stuff, right? Now we're going to get our second and third finger. Second finger, second fret of the D string, third finger, third fret of that A string. We're just going to play those two notes, okay? So those are thirds. So we don't have a 5 in there, but that's okay. Okay, so that's just the C and the E. In actuality, it's a D and an F sharp. To an F5 power chord, first finger, first fret of the E string in accordance to the capo, third finger, third fret of the A string, fourth finger, third fret, D string. And same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's do those. And well, let's finish this. Let's finish the next chord. We'll do all 4 together. Why not? First finger. Okay, we're gonna play that. We're gonna place it here on the second fret, the G string. We're gonna include the low A here. When I was listening back to the track, I heard that. So I guess this would be those D's and A's together. So I guess a D5 over A. I guess if we want to do that. Okay, like that. You want the A string, open D string. And this note here, second fret of the G string, which is acting as our substitute A because we're capoed. Okay, so here we go. Here's all those notes, or all those chords. And this is going to be repeated twice. That's what's happening there. Really, really, really great stuff. After that, we go into another chorus where we have that solo over it as well. So we hear the solo yet again in the next chorus, which I think is great. And then we have the intro riff that makes its way in there. And we're going to end the song with a nice, beautiful F major in accordance to the capo. In actuality, it's G. But in accordance to the capo, it's F. All right? So that is the tune here, folks. I hope you had a wonderful time learning this one. I know it's always a joy teaching you guys, and this was a really, really fun one for me. So that is the lesson. Again, you can rewatch this on YouTube. I know we covered a ton of stuff in this one, but definitely take your time, go back, rewatch it, and get it right. And again, something I always like to say too, play in the day you're in, you know? We're not always at a 10 every day. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I've got a cold. So some days we may not think like, oh my gosh, I'm not playing my best, but play in the day you're in. We're always growing. We're always students. Even myself, I am still a student of the instrument. I will always be a student of the instrument. And what I know, I like to share. So that is why these lessons are just so, so wonderful for me. I'm just happy to share what I know as a student myself. So it's always just such a blast. So thank you all so, so much. I'm going to go drink some tea and try and stay away from all the thunderstorms that are happening outside my window at the moment. But yeah, again, thank you all very, very much. I hope this lesson was informative. As always, wishing you much success in your musical journey. Don't forget to check out my website, AngelaPetrillimusic.com. Be sure to check out my new EP that's coming out May 2023. I am thrilled. My band is thrilled. We are just so, so excited to have you hear the new tunes. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be really great. We're very, very excited and very, very proud. So be sure to check that out, AngelaPetrillimusic.com. Okay, I'm going to go and drink some tea. Thanks again for everything.